I mean, I've never seen the video of Allison's murder. I never want to see it. When I decided to just go to YouTube, type in Allison Parker, I mean, there were pages and pages and pages filled with, videos that people had posted. And that's when I knew that there was a problem.
We're continuing to follow breaking news out of Roanoke, Virginia, where a reporter and photographer were shot live to death on the air. Allison Parker is the reporter on your screen, and Adam Ward was her photographer. This happened during a live...
It was arbitrary. It was like hit or miss. I mean, he'd flagged one that was clearly in violation of, quote, their terms of service, but then others that they would just leave up and still have to this day. And so I realized that all we were doing was playing whack-a-mole. And that's when I decided we can't just play whack-a-mole. We've got to go after these platforms. And then I realized that, well, you can't just do it. You can't just go that route. You can't sue them because they're, thanks to Section 230, they are completely immune from any kind of liability. They're protected from liability. They can do what they do because they can, or they do what they do because they can. I mean, there's only so much you can do, short of congressional action. And that's the biggest reason that I'm running for Congress right now, is because I've done everything I can as a private citizen. It's got to be fixed through Congress, and I've got to be the one that is the champion for it.
So I think it's important not to think of Section 230 as something sacred. It is a very important provision, and it has encouraged expression and innovation online. My organization's goal is not to dismantle Section 230. It's to make certain surgical changes that would protect users against harmful speech that platforms either encourage or amplify or explicitly seek out and promote.
These people with Facebook and Google, it's almost like they have a pre-recorded message and they hit play, and every time somebody says, well, what are you going to do about the video of Andy's daughter's murder, and it's like, it's the same bullshit you hear every single time. It's for years. If Google and Facebook had to abide by the same editorial standards that CNN or Fox News or the Washington Post or whoever it is, if they had to adhere to those same standards, we wouldn't be having this. But they don't.
Companies like Facebook use the tremendous volumes of personal data that they collect to algorithmically target content, and often those algorithms end up favoring splashy, salacious, false information, which distorts the information ecosystem.
They're soulless. I mean, they are soulless excuses for human beings. Specifically, they profit from Allison's murder, and I can't abide by that. You can't throw up Section 230 when you're talking to these executives at Google, which we have, and they don't care. I mean, it's like, hey, these are our terms of service. Section 230 is what it is. The only exception to that is copyright violation.
I think it's interesting that copyright is not covered by Section 230, and there is a takedown procedure for when copyright is violated.
But the problem is, I don't own the copyright. Mm-hmm. Gray Television, which bought WDBJ, and along with it, they now own the copyright, and they've refused to give me the copyright. And they still, to this day, they have not explained why they refuse to grant it. And I think that it's probably comes down to money. They feel like this is a valuable asset to them in a sick way. Or else they're just providing cover for Google and Facebook. They're more afraid of them than they are me. I think the easiest solution is to just eliminate the liability protection, because if people with legitimate claims like I do, if they started suing Facebook and Google, they would stop this, because then they'd be sued into oblivion. They'd be sued out of business.
Well, it's important to remember that we're not advocating for removing Section 230, but even if you did today, if you just wiped Section 230 off the books, platforms would still have First Amendment rights to host lawful speech on the website, on their platform, and something like a newsworthy video that includes violence probably would be First Amendment protected speech.
Graphic violence and murder videos. I mean, that's not stifling, eliminating that and prohibiting that is not stifling free speech. I mean, that's just protecting this country.